And we are live. What's good, people? It's your man, DL Saint. It's time for the DL Saint I Really Want to Know podcast. Telling you, y'all, this Roadmaster Pro, that's what's up. That's what's up. You can do all kind of stuff with this thing, man. I love it. It's a great investment. How y'all doing, man? Happy Tuesday. Happy Taco Tuesday, man. Go on to get you some tacos. I had mine yesterday. I couldn't wait. My daughter loves tacos, man. It's this place called the Taco Bar, not far from where we live. And I mean, it's a good 12-minute drive for me, something like that, 12, 15-minute drive. This child would eat. If I brought back 100 plain steak tacos, she would eat 100 plain steak tacos. I mean, she loves this place. So I went yesterday, couldn't wait till Tuesday. I'm like, let's go get you taco now. I had a chicken quesadilla with some beans and rice. Man, it was good. Shout out to Taco Bar here in, man, I don't even know what area that is because I'm still new. So it's out here, wherever it is, not too far from me. But hope y'all are doing good, man. Yeah, I came across a story last week. And I'll come across these stories. I'll read these articles. I put them in my phone. I'll forward them to myself. Right. And then I'll, save them. And so, yeah, I was going through my phone. I'm like, oh, yeah, I want to do this story. And it's all about self-checkout, which, man, I ain't gonna lie to you. I've never been a fan of self-checkout. I'm union. I mean, if I'm forced to use self-checkout, I just leave my stuff there and I exit the store. I don't buy nothing. Either I buy it from a human who's sitting in front of a register, or I don't buy nothing. And if it gets to the point where that becomes the norm, there are no more humans at checkout, then I won't go in brick and mortar stores anymore. I'll simply, Jeff Bezos to get my money. I'll use one of those services where they bring the food to you. You just order online, they bring it to you. That's just how I am because of the union. I understand that automation is the future. I get it. I understand that. However, there doesn't seem to be a plan for people, for the workers. Andrew Yang was bringing this up when he made his presidential run. And, he was all about UBI, Universal Basic Income, because he said the same thing. There's no stopping the future. There's no stopping automation. And Snuggle668, what's good? Thanks for coming through. Appreciate the support. But there's no stopping this. So his big thing is America needs to get ahead of this. And this is one of the time where as a society we need to be proactive as opposed to reactive, because here we're talking about grocery stores, we're talking about like the Walgreens, the Walmarts of the world, whatever, this self-checkout thing. But when trucks start driving themselves, you know what I mean? That's a huge part of our economy. When people don't realize that everything moves around, people realize it now because gas prices went up so high and everything went up because of it. But everything in this country moves by truck, right? And then you have all this infrastructure geared towards the trucking industry. So when you take humans away from trucks, you got problems, man. Like you lose hotel, motel stuff. You lose the gas stations, the truck stops. You lose the diners, the cafes. You lose all this stuff. You know what I mean? You lose all of that economy built around building the trucks and maintaining the trucks. You'll still have to maintain the trucks, but you're gonna have you're gonna be like, got to be computer savvy. These trucks are gonna be big computers, like computers on wheels. So we need to. That's one of the reasons why I was such a big fan of Andrew Yang. Like, he's actually looking into the future. He's like, yo, we got real problems, man. Forget this Republican, Democrat, conservative, liberal, whatever BS. You know what I mean? Trumpers, anti-Trumpers, AOC. Forget all that. We got a serious problem on the horizon. What are we going to do about it? No one wants to talk about it. Brother Jason, what's good? Welcome, man. Thanks for coming through, man. Another day one for sure, man. Y'all got your I saw your Instagram post, man, about the barbershop thing. That's just hilarious. That was funny. Thanks for sending that to me, bro. Snuggle668, yeah. With universal basic income, what is the inflation going to be like, and is the money going to be worth anything? Really good point. Really good point. So I'm not an expert on that. I do understand that just printing money doesn't make any sense. And I think the problems we're having now with inflation is all of the corporate bailouts. I mean, this was the first time they actually gave money in mass to average people. And when you look at that too, like I didn't get a lot of, STEMI money. I just come out. I was working as an air traffic controller. I was doing well. So I just retired. So no, I didn't get any STEMI money. I mean, but there was a lot of people who did. And when you look at the amount of money that the average American got and you compare that to the average amount of money that corporations got and businesses got, I mean, you can really see what a hustle was. You know what I mean? I'm not an advocate of just, giving people money, but I do understand that America's going to have to do something. So I'm all open to ideas. You know what I mean? When I heard this whole thing about universal basic income, I was like, oh, wow, it made sense to me. That's not a lot of money. They were proposing paying $1,000 to each American over 18. It's not a whole lot of money, man. It's no money at all, to be honest with you. But you got to do something. Like you have to do something so people can stay alive. Like we have all sorts of safety nets and this and that around in this country. And, bro, I don't have all the answers on this one. You know what I mean? I'm going to continue to delve into this subject, this topic, and talk to people who really do know, like how would UBI work with reference to inflation? How would, what type of society would that look like? We'll have to see. But that was a great question. And Snuggle 668 continues. Have you noticed all the other countries are reaching into the third world countries and using their resources against the westernized countries in a race for power? Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. All this stuff is going on at the same time. You dig? Like America and the first world countries are extremely wealthy. And then you got these third world countries that are, doing really hard. Like a lot of these countries in Africa, Central and South America, Indonesia, stuff like that. Now the Middle East, even though they have all that oil over there, that money is 1%. And then just the rest of the 99. That's always going to be the case. That's a thing. 100%. That's a thing. You know what I mean? That's always going to be a thing. Why is it that America, we are America for one simple reason. I said this on one of my other podcasts, bro. Can't nobody fuck with us, man. Right? The strongest military the world has ever seen. Can't nobody mess with us. As hard as they try, they can nitpick their like little mosquito bites. It's nothing. It's nothing. No one can stand up to America's military might. No one. That includes China, North Korea, Russia, you name it. They can't mess with us because that's where we put our money. Right? We are savage when it comes to war. Trust me, trained by the best. I know what I'm talking about, bro. When it's time to go get somebody, we go get them. So, you know what I mean? And I'm assuming, Snuggles, that you're male. Just assuming. If you're female, let me know, because I feel bad calling you brother if, in fact, you're not a brother. I don't do pronouns. I'm talking, I do believe in gender. You know what I mean? I don't do pronouns. You know what I mean? I just want to make sure I'm addressing you properly, my people. You know what I mean? So yeah, and again, I was a big fan of Andrew Yang because I like what he was talking about. And then, when all the talking heads came out, Dr. Martin Luther King was also a proponent of UBI, going all the way back to Benjamin Franklin, with founding fathers. He was a proponent of UBI. I don't know, man. Like we got to do something. We got to do something, man, because at some point everyone's going to have to draw, like I said, it's like what Andrew Tate says, man. It's no longer the have and have nots. It's the have nots and the have yachts. I mean, it's getting there. You know what I mean? That's where we are going. The line is there. You're going to be on one side or the other. So it would be nice, if we had a country where we had a thriving middle class, and that would drive our economy. And you're going to have the rich folks, and then you're going to have those at the bottom. But like in the middle is kind of cool. It'd be nice to have that. But as we know, the middle class has been decimated. It's been decimated and continues to be decimated. So we got to do something. I don't know what it is. I'm not a socialist. I'm not a communist. You know what I mean? You see what I'm about behind me. I'm all about that. You know what I mean? Second Amendment, all that good stuff. I'm all about that. I'm a fighter, always have been. You know what I mean? Ain't nobody gave me nothing. You know what I mean? It's like a lot of people done took their shots. You know what I mean? I'm still here. But we got to do something. You know what I mean? We absolutely need to do something. So let's see. Snuggle668, do you think what's going on? Do you think what is going to happen with the universal basic income that a lot of people are getting to be searched for the rest of their lifetimes? Do you think that that's what's supposed to happen by design? Yeah. I mean, this is some diabolical Machiavellian type shit. I believe it. And Americans, the average American is so busy trying to keep their head above water and trying to provide for their families. And, you know, like I said, we don't put any emphasis on education, and we just don't. Like, Americans are getting dumber and dumber and fatter and more unhappy. Right. So, yeah, I do believe it's by design. I do. You know what I mean? I'm busting my ass. I want to be in the 1%. You know what I mean? I want to be a lot closer to the 1% than I am now. That's why I'm working so hard. That's why I do what I do. That's what, my political things. I do what I do. I keep my ear to the streets to see what's going on there. You know what I mean? I see what's going. I mean, yeah. I think it's by design, straight up. You know what I mean? What happens when the water keeps hitting up the rocks year after year, bro? Water's going to be a huge thing, man. And Michael Burry talked about that. And it's a bunch of really wealthy people, top level thinkers. They're talking about natural resources, water being one of them. Like, look what's going on out in Nevada right now. You know what I mean? Climate change is a real thing. I don't know how much of this is man-made or whatever. We know some of it is. This could be just a natural phase of the planet. But there are a lot of humans. We are living longer. There are more of us. We're pushing into parts of our world, of the globe that we went normally in. And you're starting to see these crazy diseases. You see Mother Nature pushing back. You know what I mean? All that's a thing. You know what I mean? And it looks like, boy, I got Snuggles all about this right here, boy, for real. It's like, yo, is it by design? Let me see. If it is by design, you should not be worried about what's happening to other people. You should be happy for the ignorance because it works in your favor to become the 1%. You need their ignorance. That's one way to look at it. I mean, it really is. I mean, if it continues to go the way it's going, and it's truly like just the 1%, and then everyone else and all that wealth is with the 1%, and everyone else is just like struggling, you know what I mean? Like all the way. Yeah, like you said, like you got serfs back, we got royals, we got nobles, and we got serfs. Man, that's bleak. But people don't like being oppressed. I mean, especially Americans. I mean, they're only going to take so much. Eventually they come around. And when they come around, they come hard, right? And like I said, there are more guns and there are more weapons in this country, more guns in this country than people. So I would like to avoid that. You know what I mean? Like, I would love to avoid that, because that would be horrific. You want to talk about some real fighting, some like ugly shit. That would be ugly. We'd like to avoid that if at all possible, but who knows, man? And it's stuff like this. Like, you got the internet, we have these opportunities to communicate and talk to each other, not just here in America, but worldwide. Right. This is a situation that's going on in the UK, it's going on in Australia, New Zealand. You know what I mean? It's going on in Spain, Greece, France. I mean, you look at it, it's a worldwide issue. Canada. I mean, you look at it. What separates America from the rest of these countries I just named? We got guns. Now, can we stand up against our military? Nah. But our military is made up of us. So, it's kind of crazy. But again, I appreciate the back and forth. That's what's up, man. I really want Americans to start picking up books, to start thinking critically, to start looking at their situation. And you're right. It's like, shouldn't I just sit back and let them fall off and do whatever? I mean, shoot, if I was greedy like that, I guess, yeah. But, It is what it is. It is what it is. It is what it is. But hey, thanks for the back and forth. I appreciate that, Snuggles 668. Woo. Now I'm gonna have to come with something light next time I get on here, because you got me thinking real dark triad type stuff. But again, it's like Brother Andrew Tate says, man, you got to resist the slave mind, man. This is what's going on. He says it all the time, resist the slave mind. He talks about the 1% all the time, and he is a multimillionaire. So it just kind of goes to show you what type of wealth we talking about. Most people look at someone like Andrew Tate like, oh man, he's part of the 1%. He's not. And he's wealthy. So, what is the key in competition that you have learned in all of your years in the military? It's drive, bro. It's drive. Point blank, period. That's one thing I learned about, being in the military, especially being airborne and being around those people. It is drive. Who has the drive? Who can push through? Who can persevere? That's what it all boils down to. You look at units like the Navy SEALs. Everybody talks about the Navy SEALs. What set them apart from all the other operators, all the other top tier guys, on the globe, on the planet? They don't quit. SEALs don't quit. I've been on missions. I've met SEALs, never been on a mission with the SEALs. I've been on missions with Green Berets. I've been on missions with Rangers. I've been in the field with, French Foreign Legionnaires. I've been in the field with Turkish Special Forces. Right. And all of them say the same thing, bro. Like the tip of the spear, the absolute tip of the spear are the SEALs. And then you get into those units that don't exist, like Delta and all that kind of these ultra units that don't exist, that are made up of the best of the best of the best. Them boys don't quit. So that's what it is, man. That perseverance, you got to push through no matter what. Embrace the suck and get it done. Mission first. Those are the things that drive me. Those are the things that I take from the military to drive me. They're ingrained. I don't stop. I don't stop. Yeah, sometimes I get lazy. Sometimes I sit back. I get a little bit complacent because you're doing good. Like the better you're doing in life, the better, the better life is, the easier it is to sit back and kick your feet up and, get on a boat and, watch a bunch of girls shake their butt, or, go have a great meal, a real nice restaurant, fine restaurant, like fine dining, like, travel business class or first class, like, living that lifestyle, man. It's so easy to sit back and be like, oh man, life is great. But you need something to bring you back to reality, because it can all be gone like that. It can be gone like that. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it's that drive, that push. I know it's in me. Sometimes I got to drag it out of myself. You know what I mean? You put yourself, you surround yourself with people who have a like mind, so you can all push each other and be there for, support one another. So that's the biggest thing I take from the military. And what was the country built on? How was this country built? What holds up this country? I mean, that's a lot right there. I mean, you got to get into history and stuff like that. And, it's a lot of good. It's a lot of bad. When you're talking about America, like this country was formed by a bunch of pissed off British citizens. Hey, when you really look at it, these people were just getting tired of foreign rule. They were getting tired of an arrogant king who didn't give none, who took and took and took. They got tired of it. You know what I mean? And they decided, you know what? Give me liberty or give me death. I mean, it was like whatever. And they knew what they were doing, and they knew what they were up against. And quite honestly, I believe, if you could go back in time and talk to the founding fathers, they didn't expect to win. They're like, bro, we're going to get slaughtered. Like, we're facing the British. Like, it was Great Britain, right? The most awesome military force at that time on the planet. The sun never set on the British Empire at that time. And that's what they were up against. And, a lot of politics involved, a lot of unhappy people. France was able to come in there, like, America did their thing, between Napoleon and what was going on over there. And then you had, generals like Cornwallis over here who didn't take it serious. And then, good old fashioned American ingenuity was what we know now. But back then they were doing what they had to do. You had Germans involved, like the Haitians and the Haitians, the people who were coming over here, actually teaching the Americans how to fight and all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, bro, we were, America was built on conquest, man. I mean, just keeping it 100. It was built on conquest. Like, all that money, like my ancestors, they came over here and all that money was made off of slave labor. It is what it is. You know what I mean? America became great on that, right? And then, look what we did to the Native Americans. Like, look what we did to the Mexicans. Look what we did to the Canadians. You know what I mean? America's just like, whatever, man. They took it. They took it. And then when you look at what's going on now, if someone gets wrong, what do? We go over there and we deal with them. And if there's something out there we got to have, like we talked about this water shortage thing, like if that becomes a real thing and there's fresh water and you name the country, like only freshwater source or the biggest freshwater source in North America, let's say it's in Canada, and the Canadians start tripping, guess what? We'll go take it. I mean, that's how I see America. Like it's a lot of bad to what we're doing. It's good now. I'm glad I'm here. I'd rather be here than other places. But, when you look at our history, man, it's a bloody one. It's a bloody one for sure. In military taxes, what is your hope when it comes to opposition, and can you use that same concept when it comes to building wealth? Like I said before, man, it's all about drive. Yes, if you stay focused, if you stay drive, if you stick to the mission, and you have proper support, you got a proper team. Yeah, absolutely. You know what I mean? The biggest thing in getting stuff done, like when you look at warfare, if you look at any major battle, it wasn't that it was a brilliant general and it was like the perfect battle plan. It wasn't that. It were the guys on the ground, right? It was those junior enlisted, those senior enlisted, and the officers on the ground to make it happen. You look at D-Day, the invasion of Normandy during World War II. General Eisenhower had 2 speeches in his pocket. He had one speech for a successful landing, and he had one speech for a botched landing. He had two speeches in his pocket. He didn't know how it was going to go. That outcome was uncertain. When you look at those beachheads, and a lot went into that. There was a lot going on. I don't want to turn this into a World War II show. If you want me to, I can do that. I can absolutely do a show that on what we're talking about right now, and with reference to how we move, and we could touch on the art of war. We could touch on which is Sun Tzu. We could touch on Musashi's Book of the Five Rings. We could touch on Clausewitz, which I have all those books back there. Right, we could touch on those things. It's just Eastern philosophy versus Western philosophy, and also throw in the Prince, Machiavelli, the Prince, and throw that all in there. These are the things that we should know. These are the things we should know coming out of our educational system. But yeah, like back to D-Day, you had that was the Germans were this close to pushing us back into the ocean, back into the English Channel. This close, and it was the soldiers on the ground. It was the officers on the ground who was standing in the midst of all that carnage, right? And what they would do is they would just rally their men, grab your weapon, and follow me, because you have people like, what do I do? And there's an officer who will stand up, or a senior enlisted person who will stand up, follow me, right? Real leadership, and that's how that battle was won. Real leadership. Same thing happened with the airborne drops. 82nd Airborne Division, 101st Airborne Division. Same thing. They got dropped all over the place. It was missed drops. They landed all over. It was a nightmare. But those guys would link up. You'll have units from 82nd linking up with guys and units from the 101st, and they would just come together, just like in Band of Brothers, man. That was real shit. Like, I've been on missions when we get there, and as soon as we get there, man, it's snafu, man. That acronym has been around since World War II, maybe even further back. Snafu, situation normal, all fucked up, right? And you push through that. So if you take that mentality to the civilian world, right, and if your mission is to become the 1%, if your mission is to 10x, 20x, or whatever your mission is, right, and you take that stick-to-itness, if you take that focus and push through, yeah, you'll be successful. You will absolutely be successful. So, and especially if you have the right team around you, you will absolutely be successful. That's what people keep saying. Like, men need a tribe. Like, we live in a society now where they want to isolate men. And it's bad to be, it's bad to be masculine. This is a bad thing. It's bad until you need men to step up with weapons and defend you, right? So you need tribes, man. You need that. It's just the way our society is. If we lose that, we could absolutely lose the society. We can absolutely lose America. Right, we could lose America to a whole bunch of different factions. So, I'm gonna have to do a show for you, Snuggles. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do a show. I'm gonna put something together, and I'm gonna do a show for you because we're 25 minutes in, and I haven't even started talking about this checkout counter thing yet. So, and that's what the show is about. I'm gonna put something together for you. I've been wanting to do this. I've been wanting to do that anyway. I'm gonna see if I can get a couple of my military friends to jump on there, some of my political friends to jump on. I'm gonna see. Scheduling is really difficult right now, especially now for the political people. But I want to put something together, and to give a little more insight on that, and especially how I feel about America, especially as a black man, a descendant of slaves. Like the whole racism, alone is crazy. You know what I mean? But we still love America, and African Americans, black people in this country are amazing warriors. We've done shit that hasn't been duplicated, and I'm talking about the Tuskegee Airmen. Right, we've done shit. They're ranger elements, ranger units, like the first black rangers and the first black ranger units and black airborne units that did heroic shit and things that have never, things that haven't been outdone. Like these guys have set the bar so high that no one's ever been able to get to that bar yet. So I'm definitely gonna do it. Great statements though, by the way, great statements. And then Snuggles goes on. And who are the people that will be your greatest competitor when it comes to building wealth? Haters are your competitors, man. I don't think there are any real competitors. When you're out there doing things, you just got to stay away from. You got to avoid the haters, man. You got people who just want to drag you down because they're lazy. They don't want to do shit. You know what I mean? So they just misery loves company, bro. Crabs in the barrel. You got to avoid them. The 1% don't care. If you can go out there and you can make yourself $1 billion tomorrow, the 1% will welcome you into their ranks. They don't care. Once you reach that barrier of entry, you in. Look at Trump. They fuck with Trump because he's a billionaire. When he lost all that money, right before The Apprentice, when he fucked off all that bread, they wasn't messing with him. He out of the 1%. They don't care. It's off and on. It's binary, zeros and ones. The people I know in the 1%, the billionaires that I have sat down and talked to, cool ass people, willing to help. They listen to everything you say once they realize you real about what you're talking about. They are willing to help you. They will give you the knowledge you need. They will point you in the right direction. They're not going to just cut you a check. But boy, they will sit there. Like my biggest supporters are wealthy people. My biggest supporters. They go out there and they're like, yeah, keep doing what you're doing. They love it. They love the drive. They cheer you on. Hey, I've never had a problem, with hate coming from someone above me. All the hate comes from below. All the hate comes from below. And some of the hate comes from people at your level. So, this has become the DL Saint Snuggles 668 show. So, let me get into the show. And then I'll get back to these last two. I'll get back to your last two comments here in a second. But let me get into the show. So here we go. New York Post. And Snuggles, thanks for real. This is cool. I really do enjoy the back and forth. I really do. Thanks, bro. This is good. This is good. Again, I'm assuming you're male. So this is real good. I mean, you got the little bunny on there. I mean, the little teddy bear on there with the toilet tissue. So I'm not sure what's up with that. But you know what I mean? You're good people, man. And so, okay. New York Post. This was July 19, 2022. Avoid self-serve checkout, lawyer warns, or it could cost you thousands. And this story is by Emily Lefroy. When I read this, I was like, wow, it made a lot of sense to me. Using the self-serve checkout counter could get you framed for stealing, warned one lawyer on social media. Attorney and influencer Carrie Jurgen, who often shares legal advice for her 1.2 million followers on TikTok, has alleged that stores are using security footage at the register to accuse innocent customers of theft. Yeah, so that's crazy. And she's an attorney. I'm assuming criminal law. Yep, she's a criminal defense lawyer. Okay, so as a criminal defense attorney, I advise most people to steer clear of self-checkout. Jurgen says in a video that racked up over 2 million views. 2 million views. The lawyer says that there are 3 groups. Let me pop this up. And the first group is those with the intent to steal. Those sophisticated thieves still get away with this. Weight sensors and cameras have made stealing more difficult. But yeah, like stealing, we used to call it cuffing when we was back on the block. Yo, bro, some people out there can steal anything, man. They'll steal the socks off your feet while you got them up, while you still wearing them. Take your shoes off. Like, what happened to my socks? These people know how to steal shit, yo. You know what I mean? So they be cuffing y'all. The second category she calls the theft by mistake group. These are the people that generally think just forgot to scan the item. She continues, right? So they I guess brain fart kind of thing. Listen to an example of accidentally leaving something at the bottom of the shopping cart. Okay. Despite the potentially innocent mishap, these folks do frequently face charges because the big box stores aren't going to spend their time and resources trying to figure out if you did it on purpose. I mean, that makes sense, man. It's just business to them. They're like, whatever. The third group is the people she called the truly innocent. Most of these are not getting charged day of, she explained. Rather, their predicament begins when someone in the asset protection department of the store starts counting inventory, perhaps days, weeks, or months later, and comes up short. So they will begin watching hours of videos to see the last person who checked out with the Mario Lego set because they're too short, or an Xbox game. And for some reason, they pinpoint that they think you did it, she explains. According to Jurgensen, mega retailers like Walmart usually have to present very little evidence to get an affidavit for warrants or charges. And this is a big problem. Our court system is just kind of like, yeah, whatever. And that's bullshit. That's bullshit. Because once you get the charge, man, that's the problem. The charge that could land you in the jail up to a year in jail, she cautioned. You have to spend thousands of dollars hiring a lawyer, and we have to go through grainy video footage to try to determine what all you bought that day. Jerry urged people to pay with card for larger purchases so you always have proof of purchase, and that makes sense. And the Post contacted Walmart for comment on her assessment, and of course Walmart ain't gonna get back to you. So, yo, she keeping it 100 right there, y'all. Like, it's, and I see where she's coming. Like, I started the show when I was talking about I don't use those things because of, union reasons and personal reasons. I never thought about that, and that shit makes sense. So if you go through, like, and I've used the self-checkout before. You go in there and it's like, all right, let me use the self-checkout, and you use cash. Like, who's to say that there's some sort of malfunction? The machine didn't, record your transaction. You pay cash. You throw the receipt away as you go out the door because you ain't thinking about it. And then they come back to you, a few weeks later, a month or so later, and say, hey, you didn't pay for this thing. There's a warrant for your arrest. Right. And that will probably happen when you out driving around, the police pull you over for speeding or whatever it is you did. They run your license and it comes back a warrant. They taking you out the car. They taking you out the car, bro. They can't do anything but that. They're like, listen, there's a warrant for your arrest. Like, we don't know what this is about, but there's a warrant for your arrest. We have to take you into custody. Right. And once that happens, they're going to read you your rights. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say will be used against you in court of law, blah, 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 blah. You better shut up. At that point, don't say nothing. You need to get yourself an attorney. And once you get yourself an attorney, you need a decent criminal attorney, you're looking at 10 grand retainer easy, if not more. The really good attorneys are more. You know what I mean? So you in it. You were absolutely in it. Like, damn, I just went in there and I bought whatever I bought. I did pay. I paid cash. Oh, we don't have any, record of this. And here's a video of you taking the stuff, and our records indicate that you didn't pay. So it's like, damn, this is something people need to think about. And then when you, like, most of the people use the self-checkout lane because they believe it's saving them time. And maybe it's not. Maybe you're saving yourself, 5 minutes, 4 minutes, 8 minutes, something like that. Maybe that's what you're saving. Maybe. So you're like, oh, I'm going to use this thing. I'm going to save this little time or whatever. I'm in a hurry. And then 3 weeks down the road, like, there's a warrant for your arrest. And you got to deal with that. You know what I mean? 8 to 10 minutes saves versus $10,000 to $50,000 spent in your defense. And the court doesn't care. They just don't care. So I read this article, man. It was definitely a head scratcher. And I'm like, so damn, what are you supposed to do? Right? If it were up to me, if I were in charge, I'm like, all right, no more self-checkout. I don't like it anyway. No more self-checkout, hire more people, get those lanes open, right? Just have humans there, and then we can take care of that. Plus, I mean, their loss provision has to be crazy. They got to be spending money on that shit anyway. Trying to, you know what I mean? Because they know people, the product is just walking out the front door. You know, people are they're stealing. So that's what I would do, but they're not going to do that. So, and I was thinking, I was writing my notes. I'm like, well, are we going to need some sort of consumer insurance? I mean, is that going to be a thing where you go out and you buy insurance just in case something like this happens? You know what I mean? You pay a premium of whatever, a year or whatever. And then if this thing happens, you know, now you have this insurance company that you can call through this program. That includes an attorney. It's kind of similar to the firearms insurance that I carry because I conceal carry. So I have insurance. If I am forced to use my weapon in a situation, you know, law enforcement has to come and they have to talk to me. If I'm forced to use my weapon and if someone gets hurt in the process or whatever, they got to come talk to me. And I can just, hey, here's my card, call the attorney. The attorney shows up. It's all part of their program. They come in there, and that's to protect me. Are we going to have to do something like this if you want to walk into a store and buy yourself or, you know, some Reese cups or something? Like, I'm going to need, of course, I doubt that they will come after you over Reese cups. They can't legally. It's not enough money. But you go in and you buy something, some big ticket item, or if you go to the same store and they get you, I don't know, 8 to 10 counts and it adds up, right? So are we going to need some sort of insurance just so we can go shopping? So we don't fall victim to some overzealous loss protection person who's just like, I think Saint stole that. I think, you know what I mean? We can't prove it on our end. So he's guilty. Get a warrant. You know, it's crazy. And then, Snuggle 668, real active today. That's what's up. Appreciate that. Self-checkout is not for the generation. Self-checkout is for the children and grandparents generation, like credit and credit cards. We're not for your grandparents' generation. It was for yours. Hey, good point. Good point. But it's definitely the wave of the future. I mean, automation across the board. Pretty soon, I mean, they won't need humans inside of a place like Walgreens or CVS. They have machines, you know, they have robots, even in your grocery store, wherever you shop for food, they have robots that are stocking, tracking product. You know, when the trucks roll up, the robots go and they offload the truck. They probably would need humans to take the plastic off, right? You know, when it's to get it ready to be stored. And then the robots take the product and put them on the shelves. That's absolutely the future. Where humans used to do that, now it's going to be robots. Maybe one human that controls all the robots. So, and then Snuggles continues, credit has been out since your grandparents, but they didn't worry about them not liking credit. They just knew you would be, socialized to it being part of your existence. That's what self-checkout is. Yeah, I agree. I mean, it is, like I said, it's the wave of the future. Well, you should do like what your friend, Mr. Fit, and use credit even when you use self-checkout so that you can have a copy electronically for yourself. And that will recall for years to come. Yes, and I do that now. I mean, I guess that's real talk. Fresh and Fit was talking about, using credit. It's like a finesse game in an extent, like a legal finesse game where you get points, you know what I mean? Like getting the best credit card, doing all that. And you know what? I watched a couple of those episodes and I'm like, you know what? Because I was a guy who didn't want to use credit anymore. I was just like, man, forget that. I'm not using credit anymore. I'll just use my debit cards or whatever. And then after that episode, I opened up a couple credit cards and like, yeah, I've gotten so many points, right? And I never carry balances. So it's whatever I buy, it's equivalent to cash to me. And you're right. if something like this were to happen, hey man, I paid for that with this credit card. And then it kind of goes from there. But the point being, you still got the case, right? Like you still have the arrest warrant. They're still coming to see you. Normally they'll send something to your home or whatever, but if they don't have your address or whatever, like again, in a scenario where you actually paid with cash, and that could be scary. You're right, because you have to keep using my stuff. And then Snuggles continues, or you can use your debit card so you can track everything electronically. So it will be electronics verifying what other electronics might lose. Great point, and I agree with you 100%. Wonderful 34. Evening, sir. And chat, what's up? Evening to you, Wonderful 34. We're over here just having a good conversation. Snuggles got me, had me talking about all sorts of good stuff. In fact, just having this conversation has led to an idea for a show that's going to be coming out here pretty soon. Give me a week or so to put it together there for Snuggles. I'm definitely going to do that. I'm going to go back and watch this and take some notes and actually put that show together. But yeah, like Snuggles is, boy, on it today. That's what I'm talking about. If you have so many things automated and no one is working, I wonder how would people be able to pay for the items? Good point. Again, back to what we talked about at the top of the show, universal basic income. At least they can buy food, right? So you're right. These are the questions that we should be attacking. These are the questions that we should be asking. These are the things that our politicians should be really worried about, instead of slinging mud at one another and those gotcha moments and all this kind of stuff, which is just BS. You know what I mean? Like, come on, lead. Do what we sent you to Washington to do, or whatever state capital or wherever, local city hall. Like, do your job. Do your job. And Americans, hold these politicians' feet to the fire. If they're not doing anything, get rid of them. Get rid of them. But it is so expensive to run for office. And that, again, like you were asking me, do I think that's part of the plan? Like, absolutely. It's so expensive to run for office. Your neighbor who is just a savvy man or a savvy woman, business owner, someone like Patrick Bet-David. If you want, he's a bad example because he's a billionaire. He can afford to run. But if you had a guy who had his mindset, that was just, small businessman doing good, taking care of his family, everything is right, and you want to send him to D.C., you're going to need millions and millions and millions of dollars to do it. And it's just, we need to take that back, man. We need, term limits to help with that. We got to get rid of lobbyists. That'll help with that. We need to get back to people representing people, of the people, for the people, by the people, something like that. I think I hacked that up, but we need to get back to that. We need to get back to Americans governing America, because it's out of control. It's out of control. And Snuggle says, I think you are looking at the politician's room you have to look at. It is war. What did they teach you? Are they the three main tactics of war to cripple the enemy and turn that towards politics? Now you're starting to get at, that's like war college stuff. Like now you're getting into some high level, total war type shit. This is how the Chinese think. Like now you're looking at some like generational level. Like China knows what they're doing. China's been doing this since the end of World War II. Like they know exactly what they're doing. So, yes, that is a thing. That's not something I don't think there are many Americans that practice that. That's like the 1% they're on some things, but not that. The 1% they don't want to lose America. And a lot of that is motivated by greed. They just don't see it coming. It's like, I want it out. I remember I talked to a guy once. I'm like, hey man, if you can, like, how much money would it take for you to be satisfied? Like if you can have as much money, whatever, how much money, what dollar amount, how much money would it take for you to be happy? And he said all of it. He wanted all the money on the planet. And to me, that makes no sense. Like you want all the money? Like, what are you going to do with all the money? But that was his answer. This younger guy, millennial. He was like, I want all of it. That shit didn't make any sense to me. You don't need that much money, man. Like I talk to billionaires all the time, talk to millionaires all the time. After a certain point, money doesn't mean anything. Like, bro, if you have 10, maybe $20 million liquid, you're not wanting for anything. You're good. You're good. And the next 2 generations are good. You can't lose that money. Like, you look at what's going on now, you can't lose that money. So for all those people out there taking these serious hits on crypto, like the guys I know that got into crypto when the shit was like $100. You know what I mean? They were buying Bitcoin when Bitcoin was at $100. There was some guys out there was buying Bitcoin when it was less than $1. I could have been one of those guys. I'm still pissed at myself for not doing it. I didn't understand blockchain. So, yeah, I mean, there are people like that. The extreme greed. You know what I mean? And Andrew Tate has a real good video, which I have saved. I'm going to do something. I'm going to react to it when he was talking about that. When he was talking about greed. He's talking about the 1%, the dark side of the 1%. So yeah, man. I mean, it's that's some real dark triad type shit right there. And I'm not sure, you know what I mean, if how many people fit into that category. Wonderful 34. I never use self-checkout. I don't get a discount or get paid. I'm not working for free. I feel you. And that's another thing too. There was a comedian who did a joke about that. You know what I mean? He was doing self-checkout and it was funny. It was funny. I forget how the bit went, but he was basically, you know, he became the employee and customer at the same time. It was real funny. I gotta find that bit. It was hilarious. And then Snuggles, if you say they don't want to lose America, why was the thing that made America great, which was its ability to export, turn on its head and sold, and now all Americans, U.S. does its import? Yeah, well, greed. You know, you got people who, you know, who made that happen? Like who bought the politicians, like with NAFTA? Like who made that happen? You know, that benefited them. Like, all right, you know, maybe they were the 1%ers, but they weren't like the tip of the spear 1%ers. They were like brand new 1%ers, and they were trying to get up there too. That was part of greed. It is absolutely asinine that we don't make things in America anymore. There was a point where I think it was the George W. Bush administration was trying to get France to make Marine One. They wanted a foreign manufacturer to make the helicopter, right? They wanted to take it away from Sikorsky. I think it's Sikorsky that makes Marine One, and they wanted to give it to France, and I forget the name of the manufacturer that makes their military helicopters. And then there was another time when they wanted to contract out security at sensitive military installations in the Middle East to a Middle Eastern security firm. This was all, you know, in the 9/11 era. I'm like, are y'all serious? Somebody was trying to make some money. There normally are checks and balances when somebody come in there and they're like, nah, man, we can't do that. And that's what happened. Like, nah, we have to make our presidential vehicles here in America. We have to do that. We can't allow our vehicles to be made in France or China or in the Middle East or something like that. We got to do that. Again, common sense. But when politicians are bought and paid for by lobbyists, you know, which are all beholden to the 1%, that's what you get. That's what you get. Some crazy shit. So I don't know. Maybe, you know, you're right though. Instead of consumer insurance, just use your credit card more, or, you know, use your debit card more. I get that. It's a shame we just can't use, you know, cash anymore. We just can't use cash anymore. So, but yeah, that was just a story. When I heard that, I thought it was crazy. Like, damn, we're going to contract out, you know, something that sensitive to, you know, foreigners. I just thought that was fucking crazy. Are you saying that people in hell who were making it, or HEL who are making the decisions, do not have the foresight to understand the ramifications of their decisions? I think they don't care. I think they don't care. It's kind of like the story I was saying about the guy who said he wants all the money. He just doesn't care. Like if one person had all the money, what does that mean for everybody else? You know what I mean? Like I'm gonna get the bread. It's gonna be all right. You know, that I would love to be in a room with those people when they're coming up with these plans. I would love to be sitting there. And then last one, if they do not have the ability to understand the ramifications of the decisions, how is it that you have the ability to overstand the stupidity of their actions, because I don't know, because I don't have that money. I'm from a different bubble. You know what I mean? I'm sitting back looking at it like it don't make any sense. How many times have you seen people just doing dumb shit? You know what I mean? Like, oh, that's not gonna work. That's stupid. You see somebody with their car and they're just like backing up into a tree or some shit. And you're like, what are they doing? Trying to squeeze between a tree and a pillar or something. Like, that's not gonna fit. And you just sit there and watch them. You know what I mean? Like, people do dumb stuff all the time. It's just these people are so powerful that their fuck ups affect us. And we're powerless to do anything about it, really. You know what I mean? It's you know what I mean? And then Snuggle says, could just be a conspiracy theory. Maybe they're making the machines make these mistakes intentionally so people would be forced to use cards instead of cash, so you can't be tracked. So you can be tracked consistently. Maybe. Act Ozzy, what's good? What's good, fam? What's happening, man? I just did a quick show about not using self-checkout, and Snuggles and I have been going back and forth on some good stuff, man. We've been having some dark triad, Illuminati type conversation jumping off. Go back and read the chats. There's some pretty good stuff. So welcome. And we're about done. I got a few more minutes. Because the concept of cash means no one can be tracked easily. You have to put into work to find them. But with cards, you do less work. That's true. And that's why they hate blockchain. You know what I mean? That's why they look at crypto. They're like, shit. You know what I mean? They really don't like crypto. But crypto, again, that's something else I think is going to be the wave of the future. You know what I mean? I think that's going to be the wave of the future as well. There's certain things that they can control, and certain things that they can't. You know, and maybe they looked at crypto like, man, we can't stop this. So let's buy it all up and let's control this. Maybe, there's your conspiracy right there. Like, are they busy trying to buy off or eliminate the people who run blockchain? But they can't, the way blockchain works. So, maybe that's the savior for the human race. Maybe that's the savior. It's pretty cool. Act Ozzy. Yep. Avoid self serve at all costs. I do. I do. No debit card deal. Use a credit card to help increase your score. And that's what I do now. You know what I mean? Shout out to Fresh and Fit. They I watched a couple of those episodes and I'm like, damn, that does make sense. And that's what I do. That's what the big money people, they do that all the time. And it's all about the points. It's really all about the points. So, yeah, I was stupid. I was the dumb dude. I was a dummy. And I need to get that stupid on my button. I got I got a bunch of sound effects now, y'all. This is my favorite sound effects right here. When people get triggered and they start going crazy and shots are fired, this is my sound effect right here. My favorite one. Get some, baby. Get some. Yeah. Get some. Yeah. That's my favorite. I got a bunch on here, y'all. Yeah. I don't do this, the rewind, the DJ rewind, like stop the show and you got the scratching thing. I use this one. Hold up. When I want to make a point, I'll use that one. So yeah, doing some upgrades. I haven't been monetized yet, but I'm investing in myself. I'm investing in this platform. I want to bring some good stories, get some good content. I want to entertain. I want to make you laugh. I want to make you cry. I want to make you think. This is one of the episodes where Snuggles got me thinking. You know what I mean? On some dark triad. I would like you to explain what the blockchain is in your own words. And I'm gonna do that. Let me write a note. Let me talk about crypto. Because I've been doing a little bit of research on that, and I've had people try to explain it to me, and it took a while for me to really grasp the concept. Like, I didn't understand what mining crypto meant and what it really, until I read up a few more articles. So I'm gonna do an episode on blockchain. I'm writing down my note right now. Give me about a week or so. Look for the thumbnail, Snuggles. I'm doing this. I'm gonna do the blockchain episode, and I'm gonna do the Warrior's Way episode, and that's the one I'm gonna talk about the art of war. And then I'm gonna talk about Clausewitz, and I'm gonna talk about the Prince. And and using that to better yourself, and how you incorporate all that in life, and trying to make yourself into something. I'm gonna do all that, bro. Absolutely. And so I will have my definition of blockchain, and as I understand it, on that show. Give me about a week or so to get that together. Act Ozzy, key advantage of credit cards is insurance. Absolutely, all sorts of insurance. If there's any kind of problems, the credit card's gonna deal with it. So you ain't got to worry. Your money is safe. That's real good. And some debit cards, they don't provide that. Some, you know what I mean? Your bank is really gonna give you a hard time. So it's just use a credit card, man. They, you know what I mean? They take care of that. I Ozzy lost my credit card, and some dude used it at the 7-Eleven, but insurance covered it. Exactly. And Snuggles, like, I've been following you for a while, so don't worry. I'm gonna do this. Thank you for following me, for real. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna make it happen, man, because this is fun. This is fun. So, all right, we come to the end of this show. You know what I mean? Snuggles made a brother work. Well, I was in here, tap dancing fast, like, whoa, where is this coming from? I just want to talk about not using the self-service lane. How do we wind up talking about the dark triad? So, but I appreciate that, bro. I really, really, really do. And again, I'm gonna just say dude, and that could be intersexual. I appreciate that, dude. You know what I mean? Because you could be a dude that I don't know. Act Ozzy jumped in there a little late, but I appreciate that too. Yo, I'm gonna be on. I'm gonna go check out Suzette Speaks tonight. She has a guy on there tonight. She's gonna be talking about life or dating as a top tier guy or a high value man. I think it is dating as a high value man. I gotta go over there and see what that's all about. Yo, I'm gonna be over there, y'all. I encourage y'all to come over there and take a peek as well. And as always, I normally not always, but I like, if it's a good conversation, I like to jump in there, and Suzette always puts me on the panel. So yeah, Act Ozzy, thanks coming through. Peace to you as well, brother. Snuggles 668, dude. Thank you so much. I got the notes down. I'm gonna start working on those shows right away. Wonderful 34. Thanks for coming in. Brother Jason, thanks for coming in. I really appreciate it. Yo, y'all my day ones, man. Y'all been rocking with me from the beginning. I can't wait till we get to the point where I'm getting plaques and all that kind of stuff, and I'm gonna be, sharing that with y'all. You know what I mean? Absolutely sharing that with y'all, because it's the day ones that make it happen, man. I talk about having a good team. You know what I mean? Y'all my team. Y'all keep me pushing forward. You know what I mean? Because y'all keep my shit right. I'm gonna keep pushing and make this happen, man, until I break into the 1%. Act Ozzy, like, yeah, Suzette, for real. Suzette Speaks. Yo, she was on the lead attorney last night. It was like 2 a.m. she got on there. She told me she was gonna get on, and I'm not over there often. But I was waiting for her to come on. I gave up, and then she hit me at 2 a.m. like, yo, I just went on. I'm like, what? I had to go back. I got out of bed and watched it. So shout out to Suzette Speaks, man. She helps me out so much. Shout out to her. And then Snuggles, you are definitely a fan of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. You sound like Michelangelo when you said that. Did I? I'm gonna have to watch that. I watched a little bit of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but I was a Thundercats kind of guy in G.I. Joe. You know what I mean? But hey, this all good, man. Transdor Z, Voltron. I was definitely a Voltron dude. And Wonderful 34, I'll rock with you, bro. I appreciate that. So look, yo, go ahead and enjoy y'all evening, man. Have a good night. Spend some time with your family, friends, your loved ones, man. It's Taco Tuesday, man. Go out, get yourself some tacos and tequila. It's gonna make you feel better, I promise. And so we're done, man. I'm DL Saint. This is DL Saint. I Really Want to Know podcast, man. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.